Alright, welcome back to Plants vs. Zombies. We did the pool levels now. I know I'm starting a little bit late, but yeah, no, here we are. As you can notice by the backdrop already, I'm not doing this from my res room. I recorded this portion of it in my room at home. Because I went home that weekend to watch Crown Jewel, the pay-per-view from WWE. So that's why I was there. And that's why I did this. Now, I made the mistake of thinking I had more time than I did because I started this at 12 and I ended at 2 a.m. So yeah, unlike the other ones, which went about an hour and a half, this one ended up going 2 hours. And the other difference is that, as you can see, I have no headphones on. I was literally just listening to the game audio the whole time I was doing this. I wasn't even watching something else in the background. So hopefully this proves that not all Gen Z kids have short attention spans, because dear God, I sat there for 2 hours listening to the same fucking thing over and over. Regardless, yes, as you're gonna notice pretty quickly, I used a lot of cattails in this video, because cattails are very efficient things that unfortunately can only be used in the pools, and they'll track and attack anything on the map, usually homing in for the closest zombie to them. So with that in mind, it makes it really efficient to just use them first. So I used cattails to my advantage, especially because I couldn't really show them off during the main gameplay, and I got a plant from my Zen garden. I think that was the only one I got this video, and that was a tangled kelp, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I found out a lot recording this episode, and as you can see, I'm using corn because that was just one of the objects chosen for me to use. The interesting thing that I meant to touch upon before, but it feels appropriate to touch upon it now, unlike pea shooters and whatnot, the throwers, so cabbage pults, watermelon pults, and corn pults, they can all hit snorkeler zombies in the water, as you just hopefully saw, and just saw again right there. It's a nice little attention to detail that I actually find really neat, that I feel gets overlooked a lot because it's such a small, minute thing that so maybe sometimes gets tried, maybe sometimes doesn't get tried, I don't know, but it seemed really fascinating to me, so I thought I'd bring it up. Regardless, yeah, so this will be another game, another level just quickly taken out. The throwers are really efficient for this little shindig of it, and yeah, I'm already starting to feel the effects of it back home, and I'm starting to get a little bit tired, but I'm still in it. And once again, relying on the cattail, because, again, the cattail is really efficient. It allows you to also build up sunflower really quickly, because the cattails just kind of sit there and shoot everything anyway, and it obliterates most zombies really quickly, so it was really efficient to just have that there, and then I could just focus on building up sun in the meantime. A really efficient strategy that would have carried me farther, and I feel like would have made this episode go by quicker than the other ones had I not fucked up on my plant selection during some parts of the level, and I'll get more into that when the time comes to. But yeah, now just because I kept collecting so much sun and everything, I decided to build up my repertoire even more, so I started using snow pults, snow watermelon pults. I forget if they actually have an official name that sounds better than that. But yeah, I started using those two just because I had so much time and so much sun. Didn't really change the pacing of the game, but it did its job, I guess. But yeah, still using twin sunflowers. Honestly, twin sunflowers are probably the most efficient plant you can get from Crazy Dave's shop. And now we get to the mini plants, and this one was the mini zombies, and this was a very weird thing to do. And I don't think that the time-lapsed version of it really provides like the full aspect of what exactly this was and how weird it was to do, because everything changes in terms of dynamic, but also nothing really changes, so you're kind of just expecting more to happen constantly, and nothing really is, and it's this bizarre... Oh, never mind, I got a second plant. Wow. It's just this bizarre thing that I never really knew how to feel about, even when I was doing it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I fail this first level, because the thing was I didn't want to rely the whole time on using cattails. So I was going to try and use the repeater, because I really want to show off the Gatling pea. Unfortunately, as you can see, I'm already getting overwhelmed by that. It's not looking too well. I'm not finding the means to build up a lot of sun and everything. So yeah, it wasn't going great for me. and my basic plant was just too cost defective. You need like either you need something that attacks a lot of things at once, like the cattail, or you need something that doesn't cost much of anything at all. And there you go. See, I restarted because my defenses were just too overwhelmed and I couldn't do anything about it. So that'll be one of 2 times this episode that I actually have to replay a level, which is not something I had to do in the main gameplay I did of this game, aside from the very last level, which I was very proud about. But yeah, no, I'm just so tired while making this, thinking I had more energy than I actually do, and it all kind of just led me to this place of making poor decisions like that from time to time. But yeah, now I hammer into the throwers because they were some of the options that were already picked for me that I couldn't not pick. They were locked in there as part of the Adventure 2's hard mode, I guess, even though, like I said before, it doesn't really change the dynamic of it. So yeah, I'm just using a lot of throwers, and it's doing its job, and, well, aside from right there with the snowmobile. Okay, that was kind of a bad time for me to talk about that. Yeah, and so once again, we move on to this level, and I think this level is also one that I restart. Or no, I have cattails, maybe I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Regardless, yeah, once again, using a cattail, really efficient, helps me build up sun really quickly. Honestly, I think personally, despite the only downfall to the cattails is that they're so limited in the sense that they can only be used in the water. But I still think cattails are one of the most versatile plants in the game, probably one of the best to use, if applicable. And I really think that, I honestly really believe that they could have made the price of cattails so much more expensive, and it would have been justified, because they are just that good at what they have to do. And yeah, no, by this point, like, the snorkel zombies aren't even a threat, because, like, 2 shots at most from the watermelon pole, sometimes even just 1 direct shot, it takes them out pretty quickly. But otherwise, yeah, I used a lot of watermelon cattail combos. The problem was with how many plants were locked in already, because it took it. I don't remember if this is like this for the entirety of it, but as you can see, 3 plants are already locked into place that are forced against your will. And yeah, see, I'm getting so tired I even have to like start laying down, because I'm just like I'm getting so out of it. At least this time around, 3 slots were taken up, and that's the whole case for the pool level. So it made it hard to choose plants outside of things like cattail and whatnot, because you didn't really have the rooms to have like sunflowers and twin sunflowers, and then, you know, have some pea shooter torchwood combo and all that. And yeah, as you can see, I'm just going full on with the cattails. I'm, you know, dedicating a lot of it to just having more sun, even though I don't really need it. And tall nuts in the front to block off the dolphin zombies, which end up becoming a huge problem for me. But yeah, it's just so efficient. They eviscerate so many of the plants. I cannot emphasize enough just how much I love cattails. Which is funny, because when I initially saw the cattails as a child, I thought they looked so weird and hideous, and I just did not like them in the slightest. I don't think I even bought them the last time I did this. But yeah, no, having all the plants has allowed me to really play around with some of the other stuff that I got to do. This one is, okay, this is the one that I have to restart again, because, you know, the cactus did not do for me what I needed it to. And something else I found out that you'll see next time during the fog is that cattails actually can take out balloons too. I found that out during the, not survival. I forget what it was called. No, it might have been survival. Yeah, it was survival. Can you survive 5 flags? Yeah. I found that out during that cattails can take out balloon zombies, which will be very efficient during the fog and everything. But yeah, no, the cactus, they were locked in there, so I figured I'd try my luck at using them, and they just did not hold up for me for some reason. And I couldn't get the watermelon pullets out in time because they are just too costly. So my defenses were constantly swarmed over, and the jalapeno pepper unfortunately did not have enough room. I couldn't even get my twin sunflowers out to generate more sun. I could barely manage with the sunflowers I had, and so that was the big problem that I had to deal with. And yeah, you get to see some of the toboggan zombies, or whatever they're called. I didn't see many of those last time during my main playthrough, and yeah, here we are once again, just going through it. But this time, you know, I've got cattails back in my arsenal, because I was trying to diversify. I didn't want it to seem like it was just seeing the same thing for 12 minutes straight, but it kind of just was what it was, unfortunately. By this point, I was so tired and I just wanted to be done with it. As is usually the case with me and making these videos. By the end, I'm just like, okay, let's move on. And this was just that instance of being like, yeah, we'll just use what we're good with, and then why not? And cattails are just, I can't praise them enough. They're really freaking good. They attack both kinds of troops and do a whole lot. I think the other plant that's really versatile, which costs just a little bit more, is the three-peaters. If you have like a lot of three-peaters, they can be pretty good as well. But cattails can attack water troops, air troops, and land troops, and it's just, yeah, there's no other plant that can really say that they do that. So cattails are just really, really good for that kind of thing. And so yeah, I started placing down spikeweed just so I didn't have to deal with using jalapenos, and also does damage to other zombies, so my defenses wouldn't be taken out as quickly. Use some marigolds just to get some extra money, and now we're here. And this one was just plain old fun. You know, you get torchwoods, you get three-peaters, and then you go crazy on them. And there's not really much to say about this point of it. But, you know, still gotta talk, I guess. I know I was a little bit more strategic speaking in this episode, more so than, like, talking out of my ass about things and laughing and shit like that. It's just because, like, that's the product of actually editing this so soon after finishing it. And, anyway, I'll let this go to future me, and, yeah, thanks for listening to the voiceover. Alright, thank you everyone so much for watching. Don't mind the construction outside either. Like I said in the video, this took 2 hours to record from start to finish. Editing was a whole different story, but I found a more efficient way to edit, so they should be coming out quicker. Yeah, no, other than that, there's not much else to say really. If you're still here, then thank you for watching. Yeah, thanks. There you go.